welcome to another episode of the Church of Batman. Today, I want to talk about, since we're recording this is January 1st, so a bunch of laws just took effect in the state of California, as they do in every state. Many of these laws were probably passed not just this past November, but in the spring or in a year or so prior. I'll give you an example. Proposition 64 that just passed in November, the November 8th, 2016 election, is to legalize recreational marijuana. That won't come into effect until January 1st, 2018. So here's some of the laws why California is great. So here's a good thing. At companies with 26 or more employees, the minimum wage will increase from $10 an hour to $10.50. Okay, that's something. California is trying to get ahead of the minimum wage because of the cost of living. Currently, the number of states where the minimum wage, working 40 hours of the minimum wage, and it varies from state to state, and the cost of living of that state, the number of states where 40 hours at minimum wage, you can pay all your bills at the cost of living in that state. The number of states where you can do that is 0. There is no states where you can work a 40-hour week at minimum wage and pay your bills, according to the averages of all of those states. Isn't that neat? And the new labor guy that Trump is putting in his office is from Carl's Jr., and he's vehemently opposed to raising a minimum wage. He's against it. Isn't that fun? Employers are prohibited from paying women less than male colleagues based on their prior salary. Workers in substantially similar jobs but of different race or ethnicity will also need to be paid equal wages. Well, more of these goddamn liberals trying to make it fair and nice for everybody. You know, another way they're just sticking it to the white man. Yeah. Whitey, so tired of the white genocide that's been happening. Come on, be real. The state's ban on texting while driving expands to include other distractions such as searching for Pokemon Go characters. They had to pass that law based on last summer. All right, guys, can't drive and look for Pokemon, but it feels like Pokemon that's already like faded out. Like it's the Macarena of the summer of 2016. Like no one's looking for Pokemon. Maybe I'm wrong. Maybe you're looking for them right now. Here's another cool law. Companies including Uber and Lyft can no longer hire drivers who are registered sex offenders, have been convicted of violent felonies, or have had a DUI conviction within the last 7 years. Well, that's cool. I like Uber and Lyft. I like shared economies, but you do need to have some regulation in there so you don't got a bunch of wingbirds driving behind their wheel. Then they become cabbies. Currently, the state of California has a big... If you buy an electric car, there's a federal rebate, a tax rebate, and then there's also a state of California gives you a rebate. Some other states do this as well. So this is a new program I like. A program providing electric car rebates will now be available only to those making $150,000 a year or less, which is the way it should be. Rich people, if you can afford to buy a Tesla outright, you don't deserve a tax break. You're fine. You're good on that. You'll get your tax break somewhere else. Here's another. Inspired by the sexual assault allegations against comedian Bill Cosby, California eliminated statutes of limitations for rape and some other sex crimes. That means if a crime happens after December 31st, 2006, the victim can report it at any point in the future and see it protected. Previous law generally limited prosecution to within 10 years. Okay, that's a good law. Bill Cosby, parasite. This is another good law. County prosecutors can pursue felony charges against people caught with the most common date rape drugs and who have also demonstrated the intent to commit sexual assault. Yeah, why do you have date rape drugs on you? You're just like, oh, I was just carrying them for a friend. You're a filthy creep and you need to go to jail. How's that sound? Suck it. On the matter of guns, here we go. Gun talk. People will no longer be able to buy semi-automatic rifles that have a bullet button allowing removal of the ammunition magazine commonly used in mass shootings. Those that have had such weapons will have to register them with the state. I'm all for gun regulation, and I'll do a separate one on that. I'm so tired of the NRA's I've heard all the NRA's talking points, and the handgun deaths are ridiculous. You know, I've heard all of that. Oh, Chicago has the strictest handgun laws in the country. Look at all the deaths they're getting. Yeah, because people buy them illegally, you know, and then, or buy them legally in neighboring states and then sell them on the street illegally, which is, there's another law here. People who falsely report a firearm is lost or stolen would face a misdemeanor charge and would face a 10-year ban on owning a firearm upon conviction, because that's what happens. So I could do that here in the state of California. I could drive to a state like Nevada or Arizona where it's easy to buy a gun and buy it and file down the serial numbers, say the guns were stolen out of my car, file a police report, and then sell them on the street for 3-4 times the cost. There's that. Bathrooms in public buildings with single toilet must be designated as all gender open to anyone. This law will take effect March 1st. Yeah, who gives a shit? The whole thing, and this is why it drives me nuts about the right, the conservatives. They get all bent out of shape about this. Oh, there's an article of a woman in Florida holding a gun. If a transgender comes into my woman's bathroom, I'm gonna, like, it's just the best. Just let people use the bathroom. Like, whatever. So stupid. Ugh. What are they gonna do? The transgenders are gonna come in and grab up your children? That's what they're all about? No. I'd be more worried about Catholic priests and anyone that coached under Joe Paterno. The state can't fund or require public employees to travel to states believed to discriminate against lesbians, gays, bisexual, or transgender people. Right on, California. Looks like the state's kind of gearing up for its own Cal exit now that we've got Trump and the Nazis going into the White House. This one, next one's kind of silly. Smoking or use of electronic cigarettes within 250 feet of any Little League baseball game or other youth sport event is now illegal. All right, I mean, sure. Put 250 feet and measure it. This next one is my favorite law that the state of California could ever pass. Beauty salons and barbershops can now offer patrons a free beer or glass of wine. That's California getting behind its wine industry. That's doing a great job. It's about time. I should be able to go sit down, get my hair cut, and have a cold beer if I want. You know what I mean? The gals can get a glass of wine while they get their nails done. Who passed this law? But okay, go for it. Now here's one. Denim is now the state's official fabric to recognize its role in the California history. See, there's the denim lobby jamming that slack down our throats. Jerry Brown used to date Linda Ronstadt. She was big into denim. See, it's a conspiracy. That's a fantastic law, I guess. Did you know that states had a fabric? Well, ours is denim. Every autograph collectible sold in California must come with a certificate that verifies it's not a forgery under a bill backed by Mark Hamill. Luke Skywalker cracking down on the collectible forgers. That's a law that only the state of California would pass, and that Luke Skywalker would walk into the state senate and probably just did a Jedi mind trick and just went, we need more verification of collectibles. And the states, oh, we need more verification of collectibles. And that's how that law got passed. That's how a lot of laws get passed in California. Either through yoga or drum circles or hippie chants. That's how we get a lot of laws passed. So, terminally ill Californians would have the right to try experimental drugs that do not yet have full federal approval for clinical trials. You know, I'm all for that. If I was terminally ill, I would want to try some crazy stuff, because what do you have to lose? That's cool. More liberal compassion. Oh, these liberals with their brainwashed helping, want people to live in a better place and have a livable wage, and we got to stop that. Orca breeding and performance programs, like the one formerly run by SeaWorld theme parks, will be outlawed starting in June. I'm all for it, man. I'm all for it. That SeaWorld, they did some awful stuff. There's that documentary. Please watch it. Felons serving sentences in county jails will be able to vote in California elections as part of an effort to speed their transition back into society. You know, I guess I'm okay with that. I know there's people like, oh, you can't let criminals vote, but if you watch the documentary 13th, it goes into, I really sort of started to change my view on that. Not that I was a hardline criminal shouldn't be allowed to vote, but if you eliminate their right to vote and, you know, don't let them get regular work, they're not going to transition back into society, and they're going to just go back and commit crimes and go back into the prison system. Since our prison system isn't reforming anybody anymore, it's more just like a criminal college. So let them participate. Voters can now legally take a selfie with their completed ballot. Well, oh man, I gotta hope Justin Timberlake had something to do with that. So these are the new laws taking effect January 1st, 2017 in the great state of California. Thank you for watching. You know what? Put some of your comments below or tell me what new laws were passed in your state, and I'll put some together and I'll read them. Thank you for watching The Church of Batman. My name is Graham Elwood. Like it, share it, tell people you enjoyed it. If you don't like it, you know, shut your fat yap hole.